I'm from Luther, a small town like an hour south of Dunedin. And I grew up there, went to South Otago High School there, shifted to Dunedin when I left school. Been in Dunedin ever since, really.
I grew up in a small town on the west coast called Hokitika, which is about 3 hours away from Christchurch. It's just a small wee town on the west coast, sort of a beachy little town.
I went to Southland Girls High, and a lot of my friends came from little rural towns, and a lot of their rugby was played when they were young, and so for me they just wanted me to come along and give it a go, and so I loved it.
My older sister, she's 5 years older than me, and she played, and we used to go to all her games, and I always wanted to be like her. So I asked my mum if I can play rugby, and she said no. So I asked my dad, and he said, yep, you can play rugby. So I started playing for Clutha under 13s.
Probably about 4 I picked up the ball. I had an older brother, so I was sort of just trying to be like him. My dad was really involved in the club as well, so I just started going along to trainings and joining in. I've never been one that's loved the contact, but it was certainly a test going up against the boys.
Outside of rugby, I've just started doing my building apprenticeship, so I'm a newbie. I don't know much yet, but hopefully in 3 or 4 years' time I'll be qualified, and then I've got a dream of being able to build my own house, so that's my goal.
I loved my 3 years down in Otago. I've always wanted to do something in sort of the medical area, which was the reason I went down there. So I did first year health science, and then I managed to get into physio. So I did 2 more years of physio down there, and then last year I did my last year physio placement up here. So that was definitely the reason I moved down there, was what I wanted to do.
I've been a bit of a rugby head. I haven't really done too much outside of rugby. I've kind of made sacrifices to put rugby first because that's my dream and that's what I want to try and do the best that I can. But to be full-time this year has just been absolutely amazing.
The very first time New Zealand's newest professional sports team will hit the field.
I'm actually really looking forward to going to Taupō and being a professional athlete for two weeks. Like, that's a dream of mine, and lots of the girls in our team get to live that every day. So for us workers, it's a cool opportunity just for 2 weeks to live that dream.
Obviously, we were hoping that Super Rugby would be a thing one day, but to have a team that's our very own is really special. I think it just shows that there's so many opportunities now. You've got your club rugby, then you've got your provincial, and now there's a Super Rugby competition. So it's just showing that the women's game is growing so much, and there's actually opportunity right across the board. I think it's really motivating for young girls to see that there's such a bright future with rugby.